What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of They Don't Know I Be Cooking. And today, I'm going to show you how to make some crispy chicken tenders. Now, this recipe is really straightforward. If you could just do me a favor and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, because I drop videos like this throughout the week, alright? And now, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so what I have here is about 1 pound of chicken tenderloins, and you can find this at your local grocery store. And I prefer using this because number one, it's already cut into chicken tenders, and number two, these are tenderloins. So these are the most tender part of a chicken breast. So if you were to take a chicken breast and turn it over, this piece right here would be the tenderloin. So if you don't have tenderloins, then you can also use boneless, skinless chicken breast. And then you'll cut off the tenderloin first. And then using your knife, you would then cut the breast into strips. But as I said, I'll be using these tenderloins. So I got them washed and cleaned with water and vinegar, and now we'll add our seasoning. So we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And now we're going to mix it all together. And you want to mix it up thoroughly and make sure that we get all the corners. This is going to give us that flavor that we want. Alright, now as you can see, this is a generous amount of seasoning, but this is needed for our buttermilk marinade. So now we're going to add about 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk, and you want to pour this all over the chicken. And then we'll add 2 tablespoons of Frank's Red Hot sauce. Now this is not enough to make it spicy, but just enough to add some additional flavor. Now using a spoon, we'll mix this all up. And believe it or not, this chicken is still raw, but it's already starting to smell amazing. Now you want to make sure they're all fully covered with the buttermilk, and this will make the chicken nice and tender. And now we'll cover this up, and you want to have this marinate in the fridge for at least 1 hour, but if you have the time, then preferably overnight. Alright, so it's now the next day. I had this marinating overnight, and now when you take it out of the fridge, you want to have it sit at room temperature just for about 30 minutes, and that way when we fry them, they'll cook more evenly. And now it's time for our breading. So I got 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to the flour, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, a half a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of sea salt. And now we're going to whisk it all together. Now if you noticed, this is the exact same seasoning that I used for the marinade, except I went with half of a teaspoon of oregano. And now I got a separate bowl, and in the bowl, I'm going to crack open 2 eggs. And now we'll whisk the eggs. Okay, so we got our chicken, we got our egg mixture, we got our seasoned flour, and we got our cooling rack, alright? So we'll take the chicken out of the buttermilk marinade, and then dip it into our egg mixture, and then into the seasoned flour. And you want to make sure it's coated thoroughly, and that we get all the cracks and crevices, and then shake off any excess flour, and then onto the cooling rack. And now we're going to repeat the process for all the tenders. And don't worry, I won't bore you with this, but once we're done, this is what it should look like. Alright, and I'm going to show you how to make this in 2 ways. So I got 12 chicken tenders, 6 are going to be original tenders, and the other 6 are going to be tossed in our homemade sauce. So to make the sauce, let's head over to my stove where I got a pot heating at medium heat. And to the pot, we're going to add a half a cup of barbecue sauce, 1/4 of a cup of that hot sauce, and 2 tablespoons of honey. And now we're going to mix it all together. And then we'll lower the heat to medium-low, and we'll have this simmer on the stove for about 2 minutes. And then once it's done, we'll fry our chicken tenders. So I got some corn oil heating on the stove at 350. And as you can see, I'm only going to put in 4 at a time, as we don't want to crowd the pot, as that will lower the temperature of the oil. And these will fry for about 4 to 6 minutes, depending on your preferred level of doneness. And a tell sign that they're done is you'll notice that they will begin to float. Alright? So it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, these are perfectly golden brown, and these are done. So I'll remove them from the oil and set them aside. And now we'll drop in our second batch. And the same thing, these will fry for about 4 to 6 minutes. And then once they're done, we'll remove them from the oil. And now we're going to drop in our final batch. Now for the ones that we already removed, they tend to retain their heat pretty well, so don't worry, they should still be nice and hot when we're done. And as you can see, they're beginning to float. Alright, so now we're going to be tossing 6 of the tenders, so I've added them to my sauce bowl. And now we're going to pour in some of that sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. And you want to pour it all over the chicken. And now we'll gently toss the chicken tenders. And I say gently because you definitely don't want to take off any of that breading. So be very careful. And now for the original tenders, I'm going to sprinkle some parsley on top of some garnish. And that's it. We have our crispy chicken tenders, made 2 ways. That's the original version and the toss version. Now both of these recipes are absolutely delicious, but let me know which one you prefer. Alright, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, and please like, subscribe, and share. And enjoy.